All right, boys, we're live. Sorry for being 4 minutes late. These boys are sharp on time. It's 10:34 a.m. Saturday, June 27th here in Sydney, Australia. I'm with my boy Tommy Rainone, coming live from New York. How you doing, Tommy?
Great. I'm great.
We got a lot to talk about. It's always fun when we do these live streams. We already got the chat popping. Guys, before we continue, the only business I'm going to talk about is that link that's pinned. It's in the comment section. If you're not a JSP insider, it's a couple bucks a month. Join our Discord. We started in August. We're approaching 600 VIPs. You become part of one of the most educated sports betting communities. Some would even call it a betting academy. So click that link. Tommy, what's the fight you're most looking forward to?
You know what, dude? There's a lot of good stuff this weekend. I am going to the
Sneaky good.
I'm going to the Barclays Center tomorrow, and this is I don't go to as many shows as I used to while I was an active fighter, but now I'll go to maybe 2-3 shows a year. But I can't remember being this excited actually about a show in a very long time. A good just top to bottom pay-per-view. All 4 of these fights are fantastic.
Okay, so obviously we got the obvious one, Xander versus Duran. But on that card, I'm not. And guys in the chat, I want to let you guys know, Tommy and I, we're going to be breaking stuff down. We're going to talk about where our money's at. But this is one of those weeks where I haven't sent Tommy my picks. I said for the sake of not sort of like, persuading conversation, we're learning as we go right now. Other than that fight, what's the fight that pops off on the undercard?
Daniel, that
yes.
Co-main event, not Emiliano Vargas versus Mills, which is a good fight, but I think that co-main event should be Cedeno and who's Cedeno fighting? I always confuse
Jai Tucker.
Tucker, not Forward Tucker. Jai Tucker, who's from Long Island. Actually, I've seen him in my gym sparring. He spars the way he fights. He's in the pocket. He's busy. Lead right hands. Stays.
What's his temperament like? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because for most fans and boxing heads, it matters in big fights. Temperament matters. This is a kid who was tough as a 17-year-old. What's his temperament like since you've been around the gym with him?
I've only seen him spar in the gym, but he has I've seen him spar twice, I believe, but there's no beef whatsoever. I wish he used his boxing IQ a little bit more. He can make life easy, but he's constantly on you, constantly throwing punches. He's got balls. He takes a good shot. He could probably, with his athleticism, make life a little easier for himself. But he's a very good fighter.
Okay, so what's your read? So the boys in our Discord, they know where I'm leaning with this fight, but we share this on social media. There's gonna be guys who are following your channel and all the boys on my channel. If you're not following Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast,
yes,
follow that on YouTube. You guys are probably already following him on Instagram. I'm gonna actually watch your breakdown after this because I didn't want to be persuaded by what your takes were. I usually would have already watched your breakdown. I haven't watched it. So these are the odds in Australia. Jahai Tucker's a slight favorite, $1.77. $100 gets you $77 in return on the money line. Cedeno's a plus 120 dog. For all the new bettors, that means you put 100 on him, you get your money back plus $120. When you're looking at these odds, Tommy, talk to me about them.
I actually had a little bit better odds here in America. Usually, I always tell you that you get better.
They're usually flipped.
Yeah, but I was putting Cedeno in as early as maybe 2 months ago. You know how I roll. I do these long-term parlays like an investment with these. I stack the odds. So I was doing Cedeno. I was getting him at plus 146. All right.
Wow.
A bit, yeah. But I was getting him at plus 146. So I had to dive on that in a fight that essentially I feel is a 50-50 fight. So if I got a fight that's a 50-50 fight, then I do feel, by the way, I don't know how you feel, but this fight's going to the scorecards, in my opinion. I think it goes to 10-round distance either which way, all right? So if the fight is going to be that close, they're going to be swing rounds, we might be looking at a majority or a split decision. Common sense dictates I'm going to bet on the guy with the better odds here. I'm going to bet on the guy with the better odds when the fight can go in either direction. But originally from Jump Street, I did like Cedeno. I did like Cedeno for a couple of reasons. Southpaw, big, strong southpaw, has lost very few rounds as a professional fighter. And 6-footer, diverse, uses that backhand a lot, rear uppercut, sits down, misses punches, and his opponent is going to be right in front of him. Again, we're not talking about a guy that's going to stick and move and use his jab and use his athleticism. We're talking about a guy that there's going to be a lot of contact in this fight. You understand? So even when he's shooting, he's still absorbing from a very big puncher. Keep in mind, he's got, what is he? I think he's 14-0 with 12 knockouts, right?
That's it.
Last fight, he had to go the 10-round distance.
William Atundi.
With the Brazilian guy. Now, he dropped him twice in the first round. He almost had him out of there in the first round. Ultimately, he ended up winning a decision. He domesticated him, and he won a 10-round decision. But that's an example. People, when you talk about power, right, people look at the knockout ratio, and they say, all right, well, this is your knockout percentage. He's got this many knockouts, this many wins. That doesn't always tell the whole story, because you could have power change the trajectory of a fight without scoring a knockdown, or with just scoring a knockdown where on paper you see a fight went to the scorecards. But what you're not paying attention to is, he dropped this guy twice in the first round. So power was the ultimate factor, the deciding factor in this guy getting himself a 10-round decision, because he already put himself way ahead on the scorecards in the very first round, domesticated this guy, had him gun shy, and then he went on to win a 10-round decision. So you're talking about a guy that has 2 decision wins, and one of which he had the guy on the canvas twice in the first round. And he didn't look like he had trouble going the 10-round distance for the first time. Won every round.
So you're taking Sedan. I mean, the way my philosophy always is regarding betting strategy. If I'm taking a fighter at plus money on the money line, I'm not getting sexy with choosing method of victory. We're already getting plus money. You said that this fight goes the distance. Even though you're taking Cedeno at plus money on the money line, are you going to take the points then at plus 275?
Nope.
No. So you're going to do money line.
Yeah, because you know what? Because I'm covering my ass 3 out of 4 ways, Johnny. And I'll think about it like playing roulette, right?
Talk to me.
Covering 3 out of 4 numbers here. So the only way that Cedeno can lose and I can get really hurt is if Cedeno gets knocked out.
And Tucker's not usually a knockout guy. I just want to let everybody know I took Tucker. On the money line, and I'll tell you why. And this is a fight that I'm looking most forward to as well, other than the main event. There's a few of them. The Zuffa card has some good fire fights that we'll talk about afterwards. But I took Tucker. I got him at plus. He was $1.64 4 days ago. And so money is coming in on Cedeno. I might do a prop bet. I might take Tucker on points. Here's my issue, and I'm going to show the boys. There's 40 of them right now. We're just getting started. Whenever you guys tap in, boys, just like the video. I'm going to show you what bothers me about Cedeno. And I broke down Cedeno versus Atundi. Going into that fight, William Atundi had some good wins on his resume, been in there with some good guys, and I did take Cedeno on points and hit a plus money. So it's not like I'm anti-Yuri Cedeno. Here's why I'm cautious. What I am cautious on is that resume and the Dominican boxing sort of scene as of late. I've gotten burned in the last 12 months taking Dominicans with glossy, shiny toy records, big knockout to win ratios, and sometimes they don't show up. And I'm not talking about Edwin De Los Santos. But like other than the Atundi fight, Tommy, I mean, there's not a lot there, bro. Before Atundi, who he fights a guy who's 27-34, and that gets him the Atundi fight. And I'm kind of like, what is so? He southpaw, big puncher, looks great on the scales, marketable. I just think with Jahai Tucker, Tommy, this kid and everything you said about Yuri, everything you said about how like he's never been dropped, never lost a round, etc. I think when you're fighting a guy like Jahai Tucker, who has this sort of professional experience, was paired up with Nick Flaz, a big punching Puerto Rican when he was like a teenager, and that sometimes could come back to haunt the guy who we've never had to see be the nail. He's only been the hammer. Will he be able to overcome adversity? We've seen Jahai Tucker pick himself up before. And so I'm leaning on, even though he's only 23 years old, I'm leaning on the sort of high level professional experience as well as the adversity he has overcome for him on the money line here.
I can't fight you on that. I mean, this is a 50-50 fight. I could have went either direction on this one. There are things that I can point at on Tucker's resume where I like. I'd have to have his box right.
I got it pulled up real here. He's coming off that the Akale knockout, and then he's fought Truck Simpson.
No, Simpson he beat easily.
Troy Williamson?
That might have been the one. I'm not sure. There was a fight where it was very close in the scorecards. It might have been a 96-94 situation.
No, it wasn't Troy. It was you're probably thinking about dude, he fought Francisco Veron. Veron, the boxing heads, our channels will know Francisco Veron from watching him fight on Pro Box. Dude, the kid he fought Nick Flaz when he was 19, Francisco Veron when he was 19. They really haven't given this kid many gifts.
No, he hasn't had the easiest path at all. What I don't like about him is, when you have that kind of athleticism, and he does have a ring IQ. Don't get me wrong.
That Troy Williamson victory is aging well, considering Williamson going in against Callum Simpson a couple months ago as a 6-1 dog, and he stopped Simpson late. You know, Williamson had this sort of resurgence. Williamson fought Josh Kelly pretty tough too.
Yeah, and Josh Kelly has certainly redeemed himself. But
yeah, world champion.
This, like I like when if you're the smaller guy and you're not a big puncher, all right. I feel like you got to have the ring IQ, the way to control the rounds with your jab, and to try and not be in a high contact fight, especially with a guy that's such a big puncher and a guy that's naturally bigger than you and a guy that's undefeated and hungry. So I feel that there is a possibility he might taste the canvas. Now, I don't see a stoppage here. Again, I went heaviest on this fight going the distance, which I was getting at minus 260, and I was parlaying that at a very good odds. So I do see this fight going the distance. That's what I've gone heavier on. So you can read in between the lines on that, Johnny. In a way, that's like me saying I'm kind of playing both sides of the fence. All right.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be by decision. Now,
I like it.
Me backing myself up, but you know what? If it's a good close fight and there are some swing rounds and we go into a majority split decision type situation, maybe I win on both ends of the spectrum. That being said, I think that power will play a little bit of a factor in this fight, just because, again, this guy is constantly in the pocket and he's going to be receiving on the receiving end of some heavy shots, because you're not making the guy completely miss. You're absorbing on the gloves, the elbows. It breaks you down a little bit. And again, these guys that have to absorb throughout the course of a 10-round fight, and you're doing so against a big puncher, those are my favorite guys. My favorite guys to bet on, because they make these. I'll give you an example. A perfect example is Roach. All right, Roach is a hell of a. He's coming off 2 draws in a row, right? Arguably,
he beat Cruz, man. You could have. I think the Tank fight was a bit closer.
But Johnny, it's the optics. It's the optics of the judges that they're seeing, the touching going on. You're not making a guy miss and stepping out of range and moving around the ring. You're constantly in the danger zone. And even if you're catching and shooting, the judges are seeing contact.
You know what's crazy is, with so much nuance in how technical and how artistic boxing is, that we have this is a whole different side tangent. We have judges who've never punched before, who've never fought before, judging men's futures. Yeah. That drives me freaking insane. I mean, you lost some close decisions.
Yeah, and we'd be getting way ahead of ourselves, but that's why I like Zepeda for the upset over Roach, because of those.
I think William Zepeda's style. We are jumping ahead, but Zepeda's style, that pressure front forward style, he's not going to let Lamont Roach breathe and stand there and counterbox him.
Love that fight. I love that fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight. So moving forward, the distance on Cedeno Tucker. You like Cedeno money line at plus money. Points is a good play either side. I'm just opposite. I like Tucker. I'm leaning on the experience. People keep bringing up Yuri Cedeno's reach, but I watched the weigh-ins and I had this up. Cedeno doesn't look bigger than Jahai to me. We'll see. They were facing up, and I don't know, man. I like the whole shiny toy Dominican thing for me. They're great at baseball. I grew up. I went to college to play baseball. I know some Dominicans who could play. Boxing, I've been burned. Tell me about the difference between Olympic programs, real quick, because some of the boys in our Discord, they're sharps. A lot of guys who are well rounded with the knowledge. And in the narrative of Yuri Cedeno, the first thing, Dominican Olympian. And I'm like, bro, being a Dominican Olympian in boxing is not the same as being an American Olympian in boxing.
No, or even a Puerto Rican Olympian, all right?
Or even a Puerto Rican Olympian.
Yeah, the Puerto Rican boxing scene, which is a small island, and what they produced, throughout the course of boxing history is absolutely unbelievable. You compare that to the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic, I know Juan Guzman won a world title. How many Dominican world champions can we name?
I mean, we got a young buck fighting. People will get shocked when they look at how young Edwin De Los Santos is, but I think he probably could be a world champion. He's fighting Rayo this weekend. He's younger than Rayo. Edwin fought Shakur when he was 23 years old and fought him really tough. He's Dominican.
The loss was a close decision. It was
who did Pavlik knock out? God damn it. After Kelly beat Max Zertuche, he fought a power puncher in between Zertuche and Jermaine Taylor. His name is slipping my mind.
Not Rubio.
Who?
No, I was thinking Rubio. I was thinking of Golovkin.
No. Kelly was the underdog. Kelly was the dog against Bertucci, knocked him out.
Miranda.
Yes, Edson Miranda. Was he Dominican?
Oh, he was. Was he Colombian? I think he was
Was
Colombian.
he? Okay, Miranda he was supposed to win that fight, but
these South American guys can crack. Argentinians,
yeah,
yeah, they could all be guys from Venezuela. These guys could all crack. Nicaragua, but yeah, I mean, yeah, no, there is a difference. There's no question about it, Johnny. I mean, it's like
Colombian. You got a good memory, bro.
Say if I see a fighter is from the Ukraine or from Cuba, that means something. That carries weight immediately. You know what kind of amateur pedigree they have, what kind of boxing program and background they come from, and you know they're going to be slick. And specifically the Ukrainians over the Cubans, they're going to bring their balls too. All these Ukrainian guys are tough as nails. So yeah, your background does mean something to a degree, and obviously if you're from Puerto Rico, the rich history of Puerto Rican fighters speaks for itself compared to Dominican fighters where, yeah, like you said, it's more of a baseball oriented country than boxing.
I love the DR. I used to go there every year. It's nothing against the DR. There's, I'm sure the chat will bring it up. Didn't you fight in the DR?
Sure did.
Yeah, you were telling me a story. Did you or not?
Yeah. I fought there. I've been there 3 times. I fought there.
Yeah, you were telling me about how do they some of the records on BoxRec. You'll go down. You'll see guys who fought in the DR. You're like, those fights never took place.
Yeah,
like that.
Listen, you always got to be suspicious when you see a guy who has a lot of fights in 3 places. 1 is Dominican Republic, 2 is Mexico, and the third one, which has been a bit of a trending thing the last 3 to 5 years, Colombia. You'll see guys like all of a sudden you'll see American fighters, and you'll say, "Did he really get on a plane and go to Colombia 4 times this year and fight?" Guys 27 and 35 and just get a quick first round knockout and come back home. Think about like the financial expense and the efforts put in for that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's boxing. Every country has its own commission. Every state has its own commission. There's a lot of shadiness that goes on.
How do you see Cedeno? So you think Cedeno uses his range, uses his length and his jab, and he wins a points decision?
Fight similar to what we saw in his last fight. I think he might put him on the canvas. I think he actually might put him on the canvas and domesticate him a little bit early.
Okay. So Tucker feels the power, takes a step back, chooses to survive.
No, doesn't survive. Tucker's got balls. I think Tucker will smarten up real quick and say, "Oh, well, wow, that power is real." And you know what?
Okay.
Course of 10 rounds, I think that Tucker goes the distance. Like I said, I think there's a distance fight all day. I don't question Tucker's balls. And one thing about Cedeno, he's slick when he wants to be. He doesn't. The problem with Cedeno is he disconnects, Johnny. So he'll throw a beautiful 3-piece, and then you can count him with the right hand because he's sitting there waiting. But then he'll remember, I just got caught with that right hand. So let me throw this combination and spin out. And then he'll make you miss 3 shots. And then literally 30 seconds later, the same sequence will happen again, and he'll eat the right hand. Like he disconnects. It's not natural where he has to think about offense and then think about defense. He doesn't just flow from one to the other. That
doesn't cause concern for the bettors, or you think that his strengths will be enough to get him over the edge?
Like I said, I mean, I think it's gonna be a very close fight any which way. And ultimately, my one pick that I'm certain on is that I feel like this fight definitely goes the distance. So in a fight that I feel like is going to be very close on the scorecards, I think it's gonna be a very close fight on the scorecards. I think we're looking at a majority or a split decision type situation. Just, you know what? I like the odds. I'm like, you know what? I'll punt on the plus 146, which I've parlayed into like plus 400 odds in multiple different small parlays. You know what? I'll take the chance, but I've been backing it up, like I said, with the fight to go the distance, where I'm covering 3 out of my 4 bases. The only way I'm going to get kicked in the nuts is if Cedeno ends up getting stopped.
All right, moving forward. Shout out to Alberto Puello. Puello's a Dominican. The chat reminded us. I like Puello. Puello's one of those guys to me, kind of like Sandor Martin, who will get in these really tough, close fights that, he could be winning the whole fight, winning rounds, and he kind of gives rounds away and loses a lot of close decisions that nobody wants to fight. I thought Puello beat Subro Matias. I thought he won the later rounds, but yes, we forgot about Puello.
Rounds up for grabs, those swing rounds, he leaves them up for grabs.
Yeah, it's as a bettor, there's nothing more frustrating because you're watching the fight. You're like, bro,
Martin does
go. All right, so you brought up Vargas and Mills. Does Mills have any sort of shot here?
Listen, it's tough. Mills is an upstate New York guy, so he's not from the metro area. He's from Liverpool, the Syracuse area, upstate New York. Not much of a boxing scene over there. That's where a majority of his fights have taken place. He fought at Verona Casino a bunch of times. Now I know that Russell Peltz manages him, and Russell Peltz is very, very, very high on him. Now he got screwed in his last fight. He fought over there for a promoter. How the commission allowed this promoter to get away with it, I don't know. The number that he was supposed to be getting paid was $35,000, which on a small club show doesn't even make sense because where's the profit margin? So that didn't make sense any which way. But when the show was over, none of the fighters got paid. None of the fighters down the line.
What?
Not get paid. Unheard of in New York, because usually the commission's on top of these things and you got to put in a certain amount for a bond. How this happened, I don't know. So basically, Russell Peltz really likes this kid. Russell Peltz is a good guy. He looks out for his fighters. Feels terrible. This kid fought for free in his last fight where he's supposed to get $35,000. So Russell Peltz was like, I'm going to get you something.
Do you know, did the refs get paid? Did the judges get paid? Did anybody get paid?
If anybody got paid, it was the officials. I don't know. I'd have to ask.
Bro, that's infuriating.
Yeah, but I know the promoter's license got suspended. This was only his second show ever. How it happened, I don't know. But I know that Russell Peltz felt bad for this kid Mills and wanted to get him an opportunity. And I know Mills is getting paid very, very well for this fight.
Okay, so, 6 figures?
He's getting, from what
100?
I'm getting about $150,000.
Good on him. Good record. So this is one of those fights for the boys in the Discord. Because Vargas, there's no value on the money line. I mean, you're getting $9 if you're betting $100 from to win the fight. Even with a good bankroll, 9% is like, why are we doing this? So you got to get sexy with it. The knockout or the points. Is Mills tough enough? Is he slick enough? Is he seasoned enough to last?
He's got a lot of fights under his belt, but not a lot of quality fights. He's beaten a lot of guys with winning records, but guys that me and you wouldn't be familiar with. We'd have to cross-reference and see who they fought. So he's fought decent competition, but he's not a big puncher in his own right, but he kind of fights like one. He's not like a slickster. He can box, but he can be hit as well. But he's a good fighter, and he's a confident one. Can this fight go the distance? Listen, Vargas has been going rounds his last couple of fights. What I do like about Vargas, which I hated prior to this, similar to Tim Tszyu, and I think I've mentioned this to you, it drives me nuts.
Doesn't throw the jab.
Or the jab, all right?
Doesn't throw the jab.
There are a handful of fighters out there, and Tim Tszyu is at the top of the list of guys that make life a lot harder because they do not use the jab. Vargas was one of those guys, and it bothered the fuck out of me. And his last fight, he really used the jab a lot, and he was stabbing to the body with the jab. He was doubling it upstairs, breaking this guy's face. Ultimately, he stopped him in the 9th round, and a lot of that damage was caused by the jab and by camouflaging his combinations of power shots behind that jab. So if Vargas can stick to the jab, I think that he's got world championship material written all over him. If he doesn't use the jab, then you know what? You're making life a lot harder. Another guy that doesn't use the jab that I'm high on is Pacheco. Pacheco's got these insane dimensions at 168. Doesn't use the jab. He's 6 foot.
Doesn't use it.
Use the jab. Nuts. So
yeah, I think he left. I think he might have left Benavidez Sr. He's fighting soon. Pacheco, he frustrates the hell out of me too. You know what I mean? Because but the thing in boxing, especially if you boxed, because I'm 5'11". I would have loved to be 6'3". My arm, I don't have long arms, but you see a guy with the dimensions like you said, like a Pacheco, and then for them not to use those dimensions, you're like, what are we talking about? How are you not using your?
I wasn't a jabber at all, but you know what? I couldn't imagine going out there and fighting, a 3-minute round and not using my jab. So even if I jabs around and 4 landed, you know what? It's working as offense and defense at the same time. It's a range finder. It's setting up my combinations, and it's keeping the distance between me and my opponent. I couldn't imagine fighting without a jab. And these guys, these newer age fighters like Tim Tszyu that are world class, like Pacheco, like Vargas, these guys don't use their jab, and all 3 of them have a very good jab, but they just don't use it. It drives me insane. So I saw what Vargas in the jab consistently over the course of the 9 rounds in his last fight, which helped him get that stoppage. So can he stop Mills? It's tricky, Johnny. It's tricky. Flip a coin, because again, Mills has not been on this level before. If Mills' chin is Titanic-like, and not that Vargas is the hugest puncher in the world, but Vargas can crack a bit, and he's very talented, and he's certainly going to be looking for the knockouts throughout the course of the fight. Then you know what, Mills goes the distance if his chin is up to par, but we don't know how good that chin is.
Are you betting this fight?
Have I bet it yet? I don't think I've even touched it. I think I might have used it in like one parlay, and
like
Vargas is just like a cherry on top.
Because you know we both create content like this on our pages, and we attract guys who, you know, and both of it, boxing is the greatest sport on earth, right? And betting on boxing goes back over 100 years. You know what I'm saying? It's part of our sport. So this is one of those fights though when the money line odds are so wide, and you have to choose a path to victory to find profit. These have been tough lately. In the last June has been tough. Like for me personally, January, February, March, April, we were on fire. Dude, we share tickets. But June has been rough. The boy, like I don't have action on this fight because of that, because there's other fights this weekend that I find I'm a little bit more sort of confident on, if you could say confident in betting. But because my Discord is torn on this. My Discord is torn on Vargas on points or Vargas by knockout.
People from your Discord watching this, you know what? Listen, I mean, I know we're tempted as fans and as gamblers, but you don't have to bet on every single fight. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean? Like some fights you just leave alone.
Yeah.
On my show, sure, because it's a big fight. It's on pay-per-view. It's the co-main event. You got to cover it. But personally, I'm probably not going to touch this fight. There's so much action this weekend that I'm more confident on. This one, listen, we don't know much about Mills. I've seen footage of him, but again, the competition has been on the lower level. Now,
Yeah, and when we get to the Zuffa card, it's what I was telling the boys is like they're putting these guys in these 50-50 fights, and a lot of these guys are 7-0, 8-1, and it's hard to dissect film when you're looking at guys, neither one of them have fought at the world level before, but you know as a former pro, as you grow in your competition, you then start seeing the separation in talent and skill set. From a betting perspective, when we're betting on guys who are 7-0, 8-1 in the Zuffa card coming up, I'll talk about, it's tough to kind of tell where they are because the competition really isn't there yet.
with the Vargas fight, I mean, listen, I just don't want to be the guy that says, all right, you know what? I think Mills is talented enough, and he's gonna win a couple of rounds in his own right, and he's coming to win. And you know what? I think Vargas wins the decision. All of a sudden, Mills gets blitzed in 2 rounds. You know, because
This happened. You know this happened to us. Do you, the very first Zuffa card, we talked about Austin Deanda against Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You sold me on Austin. you you sold me on Austin to be tough enough, and then he's been sparring though. Like he didn't just get knocked down and stopped. They sent him to Philly. He's been at Philly sparring with the boys at Bosie's.
Okay. Yeah. Listen,
But I got I only brought it up because I got torched because of. It is tough if we're gonna bet on somebody's. I like how you say if we're gonna bet on somebody's balls, and then you're betting on that toughness, and then they get starched. It's kind of like, so it's a tough one. You don't have to bet on every fight.
yeah. So I'm not either which way. You know what? I know the Vargas is going to win. I know that much. I know.
Okay, that was my biggest question then, because on the narrative of betting, everybody wants to be a sharp. Everybody wants to know something that nobody else does and be the one to find the sort of diamond in the rough. Is it fair to say that Mills is not live?
I don't think so. I don't think he's live.
Okay. All right. So for the 70 to 80 people in here and you want to bet on Vargas versus Mills, start there. When you're dissecting your bet, open the onion up from Mills not being live and then do your own research and then bet accordingly on how you think it's going to go. All right. So let's talk about the main event. Xander versus Boots. This is the fun one. And we haven't spoken about it. So I didn't watch your breakdown. I want to know what you're seeing.
You know, the odds have really shifted towards a little too wide. In the beginning, as far back as like 3 months ago, I was getting Boots at like minus 370. Okay. Now, full disclosure, I have done nothing but make money on Boots and Zayas for the last.
Yep.
I love both of these guys.
I'm still here. Yep.
Making that money by betting Boots on KOs, and I've been making that money on betting mostly for decisions. All right. Now, this fight is interesting, but there are certain things that, you know, you have to have betting strategies. All right. So it's not just knowing what you're viewing with boxing. It's also knowing how to bet and not be greedy. Right. So I look at it like this. I think Boots, some things are hard to dissect. You know what? This guy's got so much athleticism. All right. The only thing I can compare it to, like, it's hard to break down. It's like Roy Jones Jr. Like, I've been at Boots' last 5 fights in the first 3-4 rows, okay? Because he's been fighting locally in Philadelphia and Atlantic City, and I got some people at the Zone, so I ended up getting tickets, and me and my buddies do road trips. So I ended up like a little groupie at like his last 5 fights. Tomorrow's gonna be the 6th fight in a row I've been to on Boots. To watch him up close, you're just like, holy shit, man! Like he didn't do that in the gym. He just played jazz right there and just pulled that out of his ass. The stuff is incredible, and he does it from lefty and righty. He's doing it with power behind every shot. He's trying to get rid of you. He's got a gas tank. He's obviously explosive. He's got a good jab when he wants to use it. So I mean, he hasn't even been in a situation where, and if he ever needs to be, let's just say he took one on the chin. He got buckled a little bit. All right, and he says, you know what? Let me stick and move and use my jab and, you know what, and use my range. He could do that all night if he wanted to, but that's not his mentality. His mentality is to try and get rid of you, right? Now, Zayas at the other end of the spectrum is a very good, solid, disciplined fighter from top to bottom. The only thing that that Zayas is missing is power. He's not the biggest puncher in the world, but Zayas has a very good jab. Zayas uses constant angles, right? It's second nature. He doesn't have to think about it. Zayas will throw a combination and immediately gets off on the angle, puts the jab back on you. So he's constantly moving you and turning you, you know? And Zayas has balls in his own right. He goes to the body. He's a beautiful combination puncher. And what radiates off him, Johnny, is that confidence, right? It's just like I'm sitting there listening to him in interviews and watching him in press conferences. And I'm saying, does he know something that we all don't know? Because
that's what people are thinking, man.
Fighting a monster, and he seems so confident. He wanted this fight at 23 years, and he pushed for this fight. He could have went a much easier route. He could have went to Puerto Rico and filled up a stadium and made a couple of simple defenses and made money. But he wanted the boogeyman of the division that nobody's in a rush to fight. But there are some factors also to keep in mind. Boots has a half a round of action at 154 pounds. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A round of action. He's fighting a bigger guy. He's fighting a guy that any which way you want to slice and dice it, when you go up in weight, you're going to drop a little bit in power.
Mm-hmm.
The distance is going to increase a little bit because they're used to getting hit by bigger, stronger guys. So Zayas is going to have a size advantage on him. We already see it at the weigh-in today. I mean, you can just see that he's thicker. He's a little taller. He's a little longer, but he's also just thicker. You know,
Boots have cut like. You know what? I'm glad you brought the weigh-in up. It's like our timing's on point. Boots' shoulders, though, from chest, because we're both fighting, coaching. We're looking at different parts of the body. I'm looking from his chest to shoulder width here.
Yeah.
I noticed that with Boots, he does look a bit wider up top.
Yes, he does.
I wanted to. So something I was personally struggling with when I was doing film study and tape on Boots versus Xander, and the boys know I'm taking Boots. I took Boots on points. But what I like to do in these big fights is find flaws in each fighter. We know what they do well. We know the resume. We know the shiny record. We know why their fan bases love them for those specific reasons. Technicality, whether it is, well-rounded arsenal or the super athletic, versatile reflex sort of guy who is dynamic with speed, power, and all that sort of thing. But when I'm looking for Xander's flaws, it was harder for me to find flaws in Xander's game, and it was much easier for me to find flaws in Boots' game. And the funny thing about this was, though, is that he is so talented, Ennis, he gets away with a lot of things that aren't textbook and they're not fundamentally sound. Almost kind of like how Roy used to be able to get away with until he got older, and those reflexes and speed sort of, we know those are the things that go. It's like nobody's made Jaron pay for those yet. In the pocket with his chin here, hands are down. Sometimes his feet cross. Sometimes he's exiting off the center line and his head's not moving. He just does things that he gets away with because he's able to do that, but I'm still taking him. Usually I would take the guy who has less flaws.
Yeah, I get it.
But who the hell am I? It's interesting. What's your take on that?
Well, you make some good points, but also, you know what? When sometimes those flaws that you mentioned, are they flaws or are they creating you becoming such a odd, unorthodox fighter the way Roy Jones Jr. was? He was able to get away with it because of that.
Until he wasn't. From 94 to 2004, Roy was one of the greatest of all time. And then as men, we just get things start to fade.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen when Ennis is 29 years old and with no wear and tear in his body whatsoever, right?
Okay.
And I think that you might be overlooking a couple of flaws I see with Ennis.
Talk to me. What are some of Xander's flaws that maybe, because I was never, like, you were at the highest level and there's things that you could pick up that I just haven't seen.
But I do see from a gas tank perspective, and he's got a good gas tank, but he does get a little bit tired late in the fight, and that's when the movement stops and he pushes his punches and he's able to counter him a little bit. All right.
Okay, this sort of thing. Go on.
9 through 12, you can touch Zayas. That last quarter of the fight, Zayas stays still a little bit more. All right, and he's been doing it against guys that are not on the level of an Ennis, so he's more hittable that last quarter of the fight, because again, he's got to throw a lot of punches throughout the course of a 12-round fight because he's got to fight perfect. He's not the biggest puncher in the world. So I do notice that his power diminishes a little bit as the fight goes on. He pushes his punches a little bit and he becomes a little more hittable.
Okay, so are you thinking that what if you're guys, for all the bettors out there, there's 90 people in here. Like the video, that's all Tommy and I ask for. Leave a little something. So for all the bettors out here, Tommy, who the 24% return on the money line on Jaron, even if your bankroll is 10,000, you're only getting 2,400 bucks back. Is that really worth it? Having to get sexy for the boots bettors, what's the move? Is it on points or is it by stoppage? And I'll pull the odds up.
Right. Well, originally, as I told you, I was getting him at minus 370. I have seen boots go as high as minus 550 now. So that's no longer a value to me because this is still a competitive fight. He's in there with an undefeated unified world champion. So that's just disrespectful to Zayas, in my opinion. So
the bigger guy too.
Bigger guy. Now,
yeah, he's moving up. It's crazy. Because when Bud moved up multiple times, Bud was the underdog against Canelo at 68.
Listen, anything can happen in the sport of boxing. Right? This is the theater of the unexpected, as Larry Merchant used to say, right? That being said,
that's a good one. That's a great quote.
That being said, as far as
I'm writing that down.
That result goes, I can tell you this much: it isn't going to be an early knockout for Ennis. If he's going to get the stoppage, it's going to be through a breakdown process, and it would happen late in the fight, 7 through 12. So that's where you want to bet. If you're going to go with Ennis for knockout, I see it happening 7 through 12, more like 9 through 12 if you really want to go with some kind of crazy odds. But I mean, I've been backing the fight up. I had all my Ennis bets in on the money line. I'm no longer touching that. I put in some bets for this fight to go the distance at plus 118. All right, I think there's a good chance this fight, if Zayas' chin holds up, all right, which by all indications throughout the course of his career, he has.
Have we seen him wobbled?
I believe he got slightly buckled with a shot right in the chin in one fight. That's
Sosa?
I'm thinking it was.
Okay.
I don't know who it was. It was something I just saw yesterday. Somebody posted, "Oh, Zayas in slow motion. Yeah, he got cracked and maybe like his leg went out just a little bit, but he wasn't."
Okay.
Zayas takes a good shot. Zayas does take a good shot, and he is a big guy, durable guy. And Johnny, obviously, as you know, the better shape you're in, the better shot you're going to take.
That's it.
Shape. He trains year round, and this is going to lose a little bit of that power that he had at 147 by fighting at 154 against these bigger guys. I think the possibility for a decision is there. This fight does go the distance. I think that there's a strong possibility that goes the distance. If it does not, though, if you got a play out there for this fight to go more than 8.5 rounds or something like that, all right?
Yeah.
On some of my apps here in America, I have for the fight to start X. What that means is they'll give you an option for the fight to start X, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. And
yeah.
Sliding scale where you get better odds with every passing round. So that's something that FanDuel often, an option that FanDuel often.
Yeah, we got one here. So
Yeah.
what fight to start round 5? Fight to start round 6.
What do you got, for instance, for the fight to start round 6?
Fight to start round 6, $1.08. $100 gets you $8.
Terrible.
That's horrible.
All right, what about round 9?
Fight to start round 9, 36% return on the $100, which is a parlay piece.
Yeah, it's definitely a parlay piece. Again, if Ennis is going to score what do you got? What do you have for a knockout 7 through 12 for Ennis?
Okay, let me check. Knockout market 7 through 12. There's a lot of my book has all. I never get all these props. We're getting a lot of. They're giving me punch props. So you said Ennis to win the fight. Win
7 through 12, the second half of the fight, because I think it would have to happen. I think he's going to have to really earn it.
I got Ennis 7 through 8.
Well, you're going to get crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. What are you getting on that?
You know what? I'm on my phone right now, so I can't even check.
Oh yeah. So I got it. Ennis 7 through 12 is plus 200.
Oh, there you go.
But you're then playing the knockout. You know what I mean? You'd have to.
Saying it. You know what? I think that there's a potential for the fight to go the distance, but I think the fight's going to go rounds. I think we're going to see the second half of the fight any which way. Is there a possibility Ennis gets him late? Absolutely, because Ennis is going to try and get rid of him all night long. But if it's going to happen, if you're keen on the Ennis knockout, I think it happens the second half of the fight. It's not going to happen early. I don't see it happening early. I don't see it happening with one punch either. I think he's going to have to really earn it, and he's going to lose some rounds along the way.
This is interesting. The whole thing about Xander's volume dropping late.
Yeah.
Have you met both guys in person?
You know what? Yeah, I met Zayas a few months ago.
What is Zayas walking around at?
He's a big boy, dude. I mean, I met him in Florida.
Over 200?
I would say he was probably close to, like, when I met him, it was about 6 months ago. I would say he was probably like 190.
Okay, that's almost around what I walk. And he's what, 5'11"?
He's definitely 5'10". Yeah, he was taller than me.
It's wild, bro, because like to think that I'd have to cut 45 pounds to make, dude, what do you think he's going to be weighing come fight night?
Probably get back in there. I would say, let's see, 54. I would say about 170.
And this is where people think, oh, it's only 7 pounds, Boots, going from welterweight to 154. But Xander's entire career, he has that experience of doing the weight cut, making 54, and then fighting after that rehydration weight. That gap of putting the weight back on and then carrying it through a 10 to 12 round fight, Jaron doesn't have that experience. So that matters. What do you think Jaron walks at?
I would say 60.
Because he's been boiling him. Jaron's been boiling himself down too.
Yeah, but I would say between 60 and 64 probably.
Oh, he's only walking around at 164?
Ennis, I don't think he's nearly as big as Zayas. So if I'm thinking Zayas gets back in there 175, I think Ennis will probably be like something in the ballpark of maybe like 66.
Okay, why it's crazy then why people, because a 20-pound weight cut to the person who's never done it might sound crazy, but if I thought Ennis would be walking around like 180. He's not that big.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what he's going to get in the ring at tomorrow.
No, like outside.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Ennis might get up to 180. He might get up as hard as 180, but he's got a leaner body than Zayas.
Yeah.
Zayas is thicker. Zayas is a little
thicker torso. Zayas is thicker in the core and thicker quads. I know Zayas I knew his strength and conditioning coach, Phil Daru. Phil Daru is a guy who, American top team down South Florida. Algeria knows him. He used to coach Dustin Poirier, who was his S&C coach. He does a lot of deadlifting, powerlifting, functional strength training. I think Ennis does a lot more of that old school boxing coaches. Shout out to my boy Jack Lowe, who was Kelly Pavlik's coach. They didn't believe in any strength and conditioning. Kelly never did. And who am I as a strength coach? Even I got into this with Kelly once on a podcast, and I'm like, who am I to tell a former world champion, one of the biggest punchers at 160 pounds of his era, that he should have been deadlifting when whatever he was doing worked for him? But there's like these two trains of thought of the old school, powerlifting, strength and conditioning will slow you down, which science shows it doesn't. But I know Ennis, his physique looks a lot leaner.
Yeah, he's got more
longer muscle.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's got a wiry,
wiry. Not quite Hearns, but like that's why in the weigh-in I was kind of shocked to see him put that much density on his post delts and his mid delts, that sort of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. You can definitely see from the chest up. I mean, he looks wide up top.
So no early knockout.
Can't see it, Johnny. I mean, can you? I mean,
this is not Usama Lima, is it?
Oh, no.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about Boots? As a better.
The consistency. I think he's just
okay.
Trying to get rid of you. You know, I think he's got more of a boxing IQ than he gets credit for.
I'm glad you said that. And it's why I asked you the question. I talked about in my breakdown. People don't talk about the fight IQ. He has a high fight IQ. We've seen him go from range, distance, cutting the distance, listening to Bozy in the corner. Even in the last fight when he hurt Lima the first time, he looked straight at Bozy, and Bozy said, "Get him," and then he attacked. Because we've seen before he's been more patient.
And I was at the fight when he fought Villa. Okay, Villa was a
Roman Villa, dude. On paper, I knew guys who were taking Roman Villa. I'm like, I don't know.
Going the distance, he got him, I believe, in the 10th round. That guy is a durable, tough.
Roman Villa before that fight was a dog.
Absolutely. He pulled off an upset prior to that, which I made a little bit of money on, where he scored those knockdowns in the I believe it was the 12th and final round.
Yeah.
And Ennis could, the first 8, 9 rounds, his punches were seemingly having no effect. He was winning every round, yeah, and he's landing his shots, but he was seemingly not hurting this guy until he was. Eventually, he cracked that chin. He cracked that armor, and Villa had a hell of a chin, and he ended up getting rid of him and scoring a 10th round knockout and fucking up some of my parlays because I thought that.
Yeah. I have a buddy who put 5K on Roman, and I'm like, bro. And people have to realize too the whole how like the saying moving the goalpost back, because when Jerron was coming through that regional scene, before he got signed with Matchroom, before Eddie, brought him those 2 big shows at home, he signed with like, I think he fought A Venetian.
Oh no, he was with PBC.
He was with PBC, but he wasn't getting he wasn't being marketed. They weren't doing much for him. And so the knock on Jerron was like, who's he fighting? And when I dissected the record, I mean, you got Sergey Lipnitz. He wasn't a champion when he fought him, but he was a world champion. You got A Venetian, who knocked out Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly's a current world champion. Karen Chukachin is a tough night out for anyone. I know he's coming off a decision loss to Patty Donovan. And Magnus Stanionis, in my opinion, the Lithuanian, at 147, I would probably take Stanionis to beat. I mean, he would give Liam Paro fits. He would give Raleigh fits. I think Stanionis would give Ryangarcia fits. I think the only guy who would get him out of there, Devin would probably control him.
Yeah, agree.
And that's and Jerron, in my opinion, that's my favorite Ennis fight. For me.
Yeah. And we're going to think of him as a 140, which he is. Shakur would handle business as well. I think Shakur is one of those guys that we're going to see.
Oh, Shakur's a different story. I'm a big fan of Stevenson. I'm a technician guy.
40 and 47 for the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Shakur came up. I mean, people forget he's already won belts at 26, 30, and 35, and 40. He's a 4-division world champion now. But so where are we? So we're seeing eye to eye on Ennis. You're making me think, because I put in a full unit bet on Ennis on points, but the odds were so good. I put the bet in like 6 weeks ago. I got it at what's up? Yeah,
probably got
plus 2. I got it at plus 280.
All right, so listen to this. Now, what'd you say it was 7 through 12 stoppage was what?
Plus 200.
All right, now you parlay it into greedy plus 350 odds. With what you find?
We'll add in something.
Yeah.
Okay, but see, because what we do, how do I say this? Because I have the Discord, because I do these, we're very vocal on who we're betting on. I would be called a turncoat. I already gave out a bet that has boots on points. I can't hedge now. So that's what, and I get it. It's a game I play. We created this knowing what, the haters are going to hate. So my boots are dug in on boots on points. I'm hoping Xander's tough enough.
Yeah, when I'm dealing with big plus odds in both directions and I know it's going to go one way or the other, I'm saying to myself, well, I'm profiting and making money either way. So it's almost like a throwaway bet. If I have a 5-leg parlay and I know these 4 legs are hitting, and then I got a plus 270 for a 7 through 12 knockout and a plus 225 for a decision, and it's going to go one way or the other, I'm going to make money any which way. I'm going to win one parlay. I'm going to lose one parlay. So that's betting strategy. That might be a little too for some people. So I don't do that kind of stuff on my show either, because
betting strategy is important though, and I think as our community grows and evolves, I think betting strategy could be another option. Like you're taking me through the gears mentally here. Like I give away a bet on points, but then do like another ticket and say, hey, if you don't like this one, this is a sort of like hedge sort of ticket. Because it's strategy. You know what I mean? You're getting cooked in the chat. Bum Equipment is a JSB insider. Shout out to New York. Says Tommy needs to replace the battery in his smoke detector.
No way. That's a lie. Wait.
I didn't hear it.
No, absolutely not.
Are you using headphones?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I think it's because every now and then it's kind of chirping.
Oh, is it really?
But I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
All right, so moving forward, Zayas is going to be very slow against Jerron. I think Boots will fight Southpaw after the 4th and will start putting his paws on Xander. Late stoppage. Xander's pivots to his left and will get caught. What do you think of Supreme here?
Repeat that, please. I'm sorry. I was still...
All right, no, it's all good. Zayas is going to be very slow against Duran. I think Boots will fight southpaw after the fourth and will start putting his hands on Xander. Late stoppage. Xander's pivots to his left and will get caught.
It's a possibility. Like I said, if Xander's if there's a stoppage here, I see it happen in the second half of the fight. But I do think that Zayas has a very good jab, a very underrated jab. And
This is the tough bit about betting is one of our boys in the Discord messaged me about this and he goes, "Mate, I like your picks, but it's I hate that you're betting against Xander." And I told him, I was like, "Look, if you were to ask me who I'm a bigger fan of, like I remember Xander as a 16-year-old. I remember watching this kid, fresh baby face, the cornrows, learning languages. Like I'm a fan of Xander,
nothing.
but I'm betting."
Yeah.
And I know guys who know Xander really well, like personal friends with Xander, who speak highly of this young fella. So I'm a fan of him. But my dad always said, Johnny, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. And it's really, really hard for me to bet against Sharon.
Yeah, it's hard for me to bet against both guys. It would be.
Yeah.
I like Zayas as well.
Yeah.
I truly like Zayas. Like I said, I met him. If you watch him in interviews, he's so well spoken and humble. And truly loves the sport of boxing and appreciates boxing history and Puerto Rican boxing history. And I remember way back when I first saw him fight, he was fighting 8-rounders on the top ranked undercards, and they were moving Berlanger at the time. And then
go on.
They're moving the wrong Puerto Rican fighter. They got this kid Zayas on the undercard that can fight his ass off. He's good looking, he's articulate, he's well spoken, and then moving the wrong asshole because Berlanger. And eventually Top Rank kind of caught on to that, and they got rid of Berlanger. Well, Berlanger was still undefeated, which is kind of unheard of, right? But Top Rank, if you're not going to be a world champion, ticket sales don't matter. Top Rank's going to drop you. They only move world champions, and then they throw their chips in on Zayas. They got rid of.
Why does everybody hate Berlanga, dude? Your rants on Berlanga, Paulie's rants on Berlanga, 3D boxing rants on Berlanga. What do you guys hate Berlanga for?
Listen, I mean. What do I hate about?
I like Edgar. I'm sorry. I like a dude who doesn't take himself too serious. You guys are too mean, but he's in a bit. Do you think Butler has a chance to beat him? Butler's won me a lot of money in the last year.
Butler can punch. Butler's going to be the underdog going in. And listen, Berlanger's coming off that inactivity. And what's the last?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, did he score a bullshit first round knockout since then?
That was against Jonathan Gonzalez, who spent 10 years in prison.
By the way,
he knocked him out.
He's coming off a year of inactivity or over a year.
Yeah. Butler's been active. Eye of the Tiger. I got to give a shout out. Eye of the Tiger's been a good card to bet money on, by the way. Yeah, people don't talk about that.
Even when close decision doesn't go on.
Oh, bro. We got a gift.
Rivera fight.
Albert Ramirez. Bro. We got a gift. He might have lost that fight 9-3.
9-3. I'm sitting there watching this and I'm like, shit.
I know. Dude, poor Lerone Richards.
I said to myself, I'm like, I went against my own betting strategy, which is not to use the same guy in a parlay too many times, because if you do and he gets beaten as an upset, even if it's just a cherry on top, like Kalen Plant is a -2,000 when he got beat last year. All of a sudden,
Armando Resedes, dude, we don't bring that name up on my channel. We don't bring that. We're still scarred. We're still scarred about the Caleb Plant Resendes.
You know what? In that fight, in Ramirez, I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness. All right, the knockout's out of the equation. I thought he was going to knock this guy out. That's not happening, so I'm going to lose those parlays. But I used him, and I start looking. I'm like, I used him in like 14 different parlays. I'm going to lose parlays. And then that's the decision. I'm like.
Yeah, same. I can't be. Because you know what? How many times have we gotten screwed on the other end? So every now and then, if I get a gift, I'm not going to feel guilty about the gift. All right, so that's the big card. Did you do on your? I know you uploaded on your channel, you and Paulie's. You uploaded 2 breakdowns. Did you do the Zuffa card?
Yeah, I dropped that today. That was me solo actually, because Paulie's just doing the bare knuckles. We were supposed to do that at 3:00 yesterday.
All right, I'll watch it after.
Yeah, but I just did a quick one yesterday covering those 4 fights.
Is the Brady Ochoa fight? Did you do Brady Ochoa versus Serrano? No. Okay. How about Cato Kane versus Vernon Brown? Nope.
Those are
How about Tony Hirsch versus Benito?
Oh, those are deep undercard fights. I just, you know what?
Bro, did you watch? Do you know those guys? Tony Hirsch Jr. versus Benito.
Hirsch, I know. I don't know the other one. Benito, no.
So two Zuffa cards ago, Tony Hirsch was an 8-1 dog against Mayweather. And I never heard of Hirsch Jr. We're pretty deep with the domestic. I'll talk about domestic Aussies. I know domestic Americans, the British scene. I never heard of Hirsch Jr. And this kid against Mayweather is just fucking outboxing, fast, clean decision making. And then he's fighting Pei Benito, who was a 5-1 dog who won by vicious knockout. Now they're fighting each other in a 50-50 fight. So you didn't cover it.
No, I did the main.
All right.
But let me ask you, what Diaz fight? Because I couldn't find anything.
Santibanez. So Floyd Diaz, Santibanez. What do you? Did you break it down?
Yeah, but I couldn't find any footage on Santibanez. But apparently, I was going on. I was looking for the wrong name.
Jose Tehran.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Jose Tehran.
So now I gotta watch footage now.
Okay. So I mean, I know a lot of 3D likes Tehran. We did a live yesterday. If you guys are on the chat, haven't checked that out, go check that out. I don't have action on the Diaz Tehran fight. The one I do have, there's a few. The three. Sandoval, Brandon Lee. Let's talk about it.
Brandon Lee. Yeah. Listen, I used to be very high on him, and I like him. I remember seeing him as early as 2017. I thought the kid was special, but his career trajectory has really fallen off. So he's only had 2 fights in the last 2 years. One fight.
Yep.
Fight in 24. They were both sparring sessions. He didn't have to step on the gas, and he didn't step on the gas, and he had no problem just winning 8-round decision. I think that he's in there with a very hungry fighter, a heavy-handed fighter, a pressure fighter, and when you haven't had a real fight since 2023, that could be problematic.
Do you have a play on this?
I found the ball at plus 140.
Bro, okay. So we didn't talk about this for the chat. I was kind of getting cooked a bit in my Discord, which is my whole goal with going publicly and creating boxing content was like, I walked into a gym when I was 7. It was my first love was boxing. And then a couple years ago after the pandemic, I go to YouTube and all the big boxing channels that weren't AI were just these clickbait channels, like, following one fighter and talking trash. And my goal was like, I want to create a boxing community to where we're not clickbaity and it's not an echo chamber. We could disagree. So when they found out I was taking Cain Sandoval, I started getting cooked, which is fine. I don't want people to follow me and not debate, right? So Sandoval fights J-Rod last fight. I knew about J-Rod. This kid was a national champion at 15 years old. At 31, he gets the Cain Sandoval fight, one of the first Zuffa cards, a plus 500 dog, which I took. I took J-Rod. And Cain messages me after the fight because he follows me on Instagram. And he asked me, what did I see? And I was like, bro, put it this way. And I shared all this in my Discord. And I talked about it all week. It's why I'm taking Cain. I was like, look, you're 22 years old. I'm 44. I was like, I walk around with a 6-pack. I'm lifestyle. I live like a samurai. You're a pro athlete, not even in your prime.
You're
obviously these are lifestyle issues. So then he sends me this photo, and I shared it in the group. He has a 6-pack now. So he said that his camp went well. He took. I'm going to share it right here. When have we ever seen Cain with a 6-pack, baby? So we're thinking about that, and I'm thinking about his pressure, his volume, his pace, that archetypal Mexican style, and
Johnny, it's the mental pressure and the physical pressure. Mentally, he just doesn't let you relax.
Bro, and I don't trust Brandon Lee's and Tommy Rainone's words. I don't trust Brandon Lee's balls. Yeah. I don't think he wants to be there.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. I mean, we saw him get off the canvas a few fights back where he got bounced off the canvas like a handball, and he got up and showed character to win the fight. That was
but he lost that fight. I thought they gave him a wide decision.
Yeah, I was gonna say the score. Yeah, he
got beat up in that fight, bro.
Yeah, but you know what? The scorecards were a little too wide. And I don't even know if he won that fight. He showed character, yes. That being said, that was the last time he had a real fight, Johnny. That's the last time he had a real fight. His last 2 fights were sparring sessions. He was in the UK. I watched this fight last night where he fought a guy that was 11-0. How they got this guy to 11-0, I don't know. I feel like I could roll out of bed tomorrow on a hangover at 46 years old and whip that.
Anaconda. It's like, who is this guy?
Nothing with this guy. And you know what? I mean, this guy was so telegraphed and slow, and Brandon Lee didn't do anything with him and didn't really try and do anything with him. So I don't see the that shows me a guy that's just not hungry. I see Emiliano Vargas, but I see a guy that's hungry, that loves what he's doing, that that wants to get rid of his opponent. I don't see that same passion in Brandon Lee anymore.
Yeah, I thought Pedro Campa beat him. I did. You look. This is for all the bettors, and this is why I always say, if you're betting on boxing, and you're taking your hard-earned money, whatever your bankroll is, you have to do a bit more research than just looking at BoxRec. And I'm not saying you have to watch all the fights, but if you look at just BoxRec and you look at some of the scorecards, you'll see Brandon Lee like 90 to 81, or like a wide, and you see it a lot. And it's like that wasn't the story of that fight.
Agree with me on this one. When Sandoval beat Rodriguez in his last fight.
No, Sandoval lost.
I'm sorry. When Sandoval lost to Rodriguez in his last fight, the scores were 99-91. That wasn't a 90.
It wasn't that wide. Yeah, and Kane, and I'm expecting a level. He's young enough. He's hungry enough. I'm expecting a little bit. Take lessons you learn from J-Rod. He was arrogant going into that fight, and he seems really switched on. I got him at plus. I think plus 180.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's down to plus 135. I will never take Brandon Lee as a favorite in a 50-50 fight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And the inactivity. This kid's 30-0. He's not. He's he's treading water. He's been around a long time now. He's been a pro probably close to 10 years now.
Who's that kid that I shared on Facebook? He's a Texas kid, a regional Texas kid who's 44-0.
Yeah. He's 44. Get out of here.
How is this happening? Like, what's funny is if I were his handlers now, he's 44-0. I would have him try to maneuver and beat Floyd Mayweather's record, because Floyd get to 51-0.
Dude, that's a vanity fight right there. This guy's just doing that to be the most popular kid in the neighborhood and get laid. He's not doing this to be a world champion.
But Abel Mendoza. But like, to even make weight though, it like you say all that, but still he has to make weight. He has to weigh in. He has to do a camp. All those things suck.
Younger than 30 years old, no?
What's up?
He's younger than 30 years old, right?
How old is Abel Mendoza now? And if you guys don't know who we're talking about a kid who fought on the Texas regional scene, who's 44-0 that you guys have never heard of. I'm not saying that Brandon Lee is akin to that, but I'm saying Brandon Lee is adjacent to that, in my opinion. I don't think he's fought anybody.
No, correct. But Brandon Lee would have knocked that guy dead in 4 rounds. I mean,
Mendoza's 30 now.
Oh, is he really? What weight?
Yeah, he just turned 30.
What weight does Mendoza fight at?
Mendoza fights at lightweight 135.
Yeah, Brandon Lee would knock him out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would definitely take Brandon Lee in that fight. All right, so the next one we're gonna move on. So we both like Kane at plus money.
Got a great chin, Johnny.
Nice, bro. You're the first dude that I've. Everybody in my Discord, shout out to Gary. Gary has me thinking I'm crazy for thinking Kane beats him. I don't like the shiny. Once again, on paper, Brandon Lee looks like he's a model, marketable. I don't give a shit about all that. I think Kane's going to drown him. I think Kane's going to make him uncomfortable, and I think Kane beats him. And you give me Kane Sandoval plus money against Brandon Lee, I'm taking it. I can't pass that up.
You know what? Listen, I'm on the same page where I'm actually betting on the intangibles here, okay? Intangibles. I think that Kane has an incredible chin, so Brandon Lee would have to fight perfect and composed and relaxed with no anxiety for 10 rounds. He's going to get worn out. Even against in his last fight where he lost, his opponent really had to pick his spots, and he was exhausted. His face was busted up, and again, that was no 99-91 fight. I won money.
No, he was coming on, and he really had J-Rod. I don't like using the word running. I think only guys who've never fought before would use the word running. I like use the entire ring.
Laboring. He was certainly laboring.
He was J-Rod. He had J-Rod backing up. And, the counter, those sharp, quick counters at the beginning just weren't working anymore. Kind of similar to Lewis Crocker against Perro in the last few rounds. It gets to a point. We didn't talk about that. I got to be honest with you. Obviously, I took Perro on points. We hit it at plus money. I was impressed with Crocker. I didn't know Crocker had. I didn't know he was that. And you guys are gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't know that. If you watch Crocker Donovan 2, he fought so negative. He fought off the ropes. He fought with a lot of balls against Pero, man.
Fighter Donovan actually is, and how good he's going to be now that he's gotten over that hump. You know?
Beat Chukichin easy. Those scorecards were atrocious, by the way. I think on paper they gave Patty a split.
Well, the fight was
in it was in Germany. And I took Chukichin, and when they're reading the scorecards out, I'm like, he lost this fight wide. And one of the judges gave it to Karen. I'm like, are we gonna get a robbery? And they did the right thing.
Yeah. But I think Pero is food at 147. I think that he's going to get beat by anybody that's decent. I think that.
You think? I don't know, man. Like, I like, you're a southpaw.
That 2 fights at 147, and both of those fights, he's got banged all over the ring.
Okay? They were proposed as 6 foot tall, 147. Crocker's not the smallest of welterweights.
Get that, but what I see from Pero is that he's a junior welterweight. His build is that of a junior welterweight. He doesn't.
Yeah, but he's so gutsy.
Yes, but he doesn't.
All nuts. All nuts.
Punch resistance is not there the same at 147.
You don't think so?
No.
I would say
getting hurt over and over. His face is getting banged up.
We've never seen him down. He only got dropped once, and that was like 5 years ago against he got dropped against Yomar Alamo in 2021.
Like after 12 rounds with Crocker, and the previous fight, what his eye looked like after
David Popo.
You know, his face is not holding up to these welterweight.
But Tommy, Popo's a 6 foot tall guy who fought a lot of his career 160.
Yeah, Popo only has 5 career knockouts too. He's not a monster puncher. He's 30-0.
But he's a big boy.
Definitely big. But that's
you don't think Liam beats Rolly?
Maybe beats Rolly.
You don't think Liam beats Ryan?
No.
Really? No. Oh, dude, I would love that. I would 100% take Liam Paro to beat Ryan Garcia. Liam Paro is a technical southpaw. Garcia is pretty basic.
But he doesn't have the same punching power at 47. He's going to have to win a decision over all these guys.
Does Garcia have the same punching power at 47?
Garcia's a wild card always. Garcia's a wild card. Garcia, you never know what you're going to get with Garcia. Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. At 147, I would take Paro to beat Ryan. I would take him to beat Raleigh. I think Devin wipes the floor with him. I'd like to see Brian Norman Jr. versus Liam. Bring Brian Norman Jr. down to Australia.
No problem.
What's up?
Teofimo, I think, beats him, no problem.
It'd be a fun fight. You think Teo would beat him, no problem? The one thing that you got to give Liam is that dude's mindset, mate. He never gives up on himself.
I've been making money on him for years.
Bro, come on. That kid, he was an underdog against Montana Love. He was an underdog against Brock Jarvis. He was an underdog against Subaru Matias. He went to Puerto Rico when nobody wanted to fight Subaru Matias. Nobody. This is before Dalton Smith starched him. And I don't know, man. I think Liam Paro he might be one of these guys. When it's all said and done, he just might be one of these guys who is able to figure out a way. Mancini was like that.
Yeah. But I think that he's declining already, John. Yeah, from what I can see, I think he's a declining fighter already. I think he belongs at 140. I think that at 47,
he's a small welterweight.
Only, but now he doesn't have the punching power at 47. Okay, so he's not gonna be able to hurt these guys. So he's gonna have to fight perfect for 12 rounds. And it seems like he really crawled to the finish line against Crocker. I mean,
he did it against Popo too.
Yeah,
he did it against Popo too.
That's what I'm.
All right, so the boys, Raleigh. I don't think. And I'm a fan of Raleigh. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just looking in. Raleigh got beat by Grandpa. Ryan got beat by Raleigh. I think Liam beats both of those guys. It's boxing. It's not what looks good on paper. All right, the boys don't like it. It's all good. What's your take on Donovan? Do you think Patty will ever get a belt?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he redeemed himself.
I think Donovan beats Pero.
I think after having some very poor luck, I think absolutely. I think Donovan is a better version of Pero. They're both.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The bigger, better version of Pero, welterweight. That's my opinion.
But the thing about Donovan is, like, Liam knows when to clinch. He knows when to engage. I was explaining this to my group yesterday, is that it takes a fight IQ to know how to clinch and how to engage. When you see a guy who's never been the nail before and they get hurt, they go straight arm. They get hurt and they go straight arm. Liam gets hurt. He knows how to survive.
But Donovan looked so good in his last fight. He really did.
He impressed me against Karen. He looked sharp.
Luck against Crocker, because
he beat Crocker both times, dude. What are we doing?
but the fight was in Belfast. I mean, the scorecards were silly. I thought the scorecards were silly, but I think we've gotten over that hump now. And who knows? Maybe we'll get a trilogy fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it a third time.
I wouldn't mind it either. Boys, we're over an hour in. We still got 99 of you savages in here. Like the video. Did you tape Trinidad versus Ancajas?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Tough one, man. That could be that could be a banana peel. I don't think it's going to be, because I thought Trinidad got beat a couple of fights back and he got a gift draw. All right.
The draw?
Yeah. That fight could have gone either way. Now he's in there with
what weight class? You know what weight class this is at, though?
Yes. Now he's in with a former world champion who's up there in age, who's got a lot of mileage on him. So I'll tell you what I did, Johnny. I liken this fight to the fights with Martinez, the Argentine that he fought twice. All right. Pressure fighter with good power who's unorthodox.
Puma.
Yeah. Who's unorthodox and throws a lot of punches and has a lot of energy and vigor out there. I think that's the template over here. Okay. So yeah, this guy is a former world champion who defended his title like 9 or 10 times, by the way. Very composed, very relaxed, as one would be when they have more than 40 professional fights, and many of those at the world-class level. But he's a southpaw, jab, cross, very basic, nice, relaxed, digs the body, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's only been stopped once in his career. But I think that youth will be served here. I think Trinidad is just too hungry, too busy, too unorthodox, and I think that he's going to steal a lot of these rounds with just his busyness, his hunger, his aggression, and his unorthodox.
Trinidad's only 3.5 years younger than Ancajas.
Yeah,
this is my issue. Ancajas was a world champion at 108. This fight's at 126. He fought Puma, I think, at 115. So I think bringing Ancajas, who, like you said, all the intangibles, champion, former champion, fought the better resume. You bring him up 11 pounds when he's 34 years old at this stage of the game. I think Trinidad handles him easily. Trinidad's 5'10", Ancajas 5'5", and he cut his teeth at like 108, 112.
I still think it's a distance fight, Johnny. I think that Trinidad wins.
Okay.
Stops him.
Okay, then you're getting plus money either way. If you like Trinidad on the money line, it's a great parlay piece. I don't think the dogs are live here though.
Polished enough to get the stoppage here. I think that he wins just in I think he might lose a couple of rounds early and get countered a little bit. He'll make the adjustments. He'll get aggressive, and he'll just outwork this guy with simple mathematics. Throw more punches, land more punches over the course of 10 rounds.
So if you like I do have Trinidad on a parlay on the money line at 28% return.
Yeah, he's like
yeah, it's a good parlay piece. Now, if you're following Tom, and I think I like what Tommy's putting down, you're getting it plus 110 for Omar on points or plus 205 Omar by knockout. Why get greedy though?
Yeah, the minus 450 is not bad odds. It's a nice parlay.
No.
Not a bad parlay.
Are you using, do you have action on them?
Just right now, the money line only.
Same. Okay, so moving forward, we got like one more. And then we got one. We talked about Chert. We talked about Sandoval, Trinidad. Dude, a rematch. You know, you're kind of probably connected a little bit deeper than I am with the goings on of like the promoters. You know, like why is this rematch going on? Like, why are they doing Edwin and Rio again when Edwin starched him in the first 3-4 rounds?
Why? Because Zuffa's got both guys. Sink or swim. Somebody's going to go. Going to be moved forward, and the other guy's kind of going to get tossed to the side and be an opponent. This fight's interesting. I'll tell you why. I don't know if this got by you, but I doubt it did. But Del Santos.
Thank you.
No, I don't think it got by you. You're pretty good with this stuff. But Del Santos has one round of action since 2023, Johnny.
Yeah, I know.
It was a knockout in the Dominican Republic in the first round. So he has a half a round of boxing since that Shakur-Stevenson fight. Okay, so Venezuela has much better experience since their first fight. He beat Isaac Cruz. Okay, he beat who's the guy that he fought in the rematch? He's a New York guy. Cobley. Is that his name?
Yep. No, the Chris.
Colbert.
Yeah.
So he beat Chris Colbert.
Chris Colbert. That was a couple years ago, though.
Robbed him in the first fight. He beats him by stoppage in the 6th round in the rematch, right? Then he beats Isaac Cruz, but
he got knocked out cold in the first fight.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
No, not out cold, but he got dropped.
He got dropped, and then he knocks Colbert out in the rematch and did the whole standing on business. Okay, yeah.
No, so now, and then he lost a 12-round decision against Gary Antoine Russell, who, as we both know, is a very good puncher. Right?
He got beat pillar to post in that fight, though.
Post, but he was never in danger of getting stopped. He went that 12
He
round.
took a lot of damage in that fight.
You know what, Johnny? I think in this particular fight, I still lean towards De Los Santos, even though De Los Santos has.
Did you watch the Nunes fight? Did you watch Rayo's first fight with Zuffa?
Did I? No.
This was in February.
No.
He fought a guy with a shiny record and it went the distance. He got hit a lot against a dude with a shiny record named Nunes that shouldn't have been in there with him. I mean, Rayo's a former world champion. How old do you think Edwin De Los Santos is, Tommy? You should know this. How old?
65.
No, how old? You know what he's listed on paper?
31.
No, 26.
Get the fuck out of here.
I know. Bro.
What, in dog years? What, are you kidding me?
Bro, he fought Shakur when he was 23. This is what people don't realize, that Edwin is younger than Rayo by a couple years. And so it's my point is like, I don't believe in ring rust when you're 26 years old. He fought. Your same reaction was how all the boys were. They all thought that Edwin was like 32. I was like, no, he just turned 26.
Full disclosure, on my show, on the podcast, I believe I called for the fight to go the distance, which I think is a strong probability. But I also like De Los Santos, who I have personally used in 2 parlays so far. At minus 112 is what I used him at. Just because the odds are, it's a coin flip. They were both minus 112 over here in New York on FanDuel. But I think there's a possibility this fight goes the 10-round distance. The valuable experience this guy's picked up over the years since their first fight. He's also going to be in there with a guy that he knows can crack, so he's going to be on his P's and Q's, one would think. And you know what? Listen, he went the 12-round distance with Russell and with Cruz, and he beat Cruz. So I think this fight might be a distance fight.
Yeah, so I like it, we're looking at the odds right now, boys, wherever you are in the world. $100 will pretty much get you your money back. I'm not getting sexy with it. I took Edwin on the money line. You know, what's interesting is, even though Edwin's the favorite here, look at the odds. Edwin on points, plus 230. Rayo on points, plus 170. So when do we ever see that a favorite flip-flops on a method of victory option? Do you see what I'm saying? Like the number on Rayo to win on points is the favorite more over than Edwin on points, even though Rayo is the dog on paper. We never see that.
A little odd. Well,
have we ever seen, because the points are, the money's coming in on Edwin to stop him. I'm not playing this stoppage. I'm not playing this. Dude, you're giving me $100 basically gives me $100 back, dude. I'm taking Edwin money line.
Money line, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So that's the move. Do you think we're going to see any surprises
on the Zuffa card?
The whole weekend, man. June has been crazy, Tommy. There's been a lot of like weird fights, weird decisions, upsets. What do you, if we're putting our tinfoil hat conspiracy thing on, do you think that the bookies are catching up to the bettors? Because it was like, we were like smooth sailing January, February. You and I sent each other our tickets. We were hitting 100% tickets for months. And June's been kind of tough. What's that about?
I think we were just, listen, you get hot and cold like everything else in life. So I think
okay.
No, I think we're due for a heater.
Okay, we're due for a heater, bro.
Example, like I have Boots closing out like 10 parlays tomorrow. So Boots, as long as fight, I got probably like $300-400 coming to tomorrow. All right. So this should probably set me off, hopefully, on another heater. But you know how I roll. I do long-term parlays. It's more like investments to me. I'll find one fight that I really like, and I'll close everything out with that. I'm also was doing that on Abdullah Mason against Cordina. I thought Mason was going to steamroll Cordina, but unfortunately that fight is off now. But
and they paid us out though.
Yes, I'll get paid out on that because I didn't even check my apps today. You're right. I would have got paid out today. Yeah,
I got paid out today. And I'm glad you brought it up. There's a couple of things. We've been on for almost 90 minutes. We could shoot the shit for hours. If you guys are new to betting, let me press pause here so you guys can see this. So Tommy and I, we've been shooting the shit on, behind the scenes for almost, maybe not quite a year, but you've always been the type of guy to tell me, you're like, bro, I know you like picking underdogs. You were like, you got to do some long-term parlays. So
Oh,
in
but
April, I took your advice. I
yeah,
did a long-term parlay
yeah, because you've always been the instant gratification guy.
plus four.
Sometimes, like the instant
Pay,
gratification you need.
pay, you, I don't need instant gratification. I've never sat here and tried to tell or position people that I'm an expert in this shit. I just grew up around the sport. Where I'm learning is the strategy of betting. I know boxing. It's just the strategy of betting. And you were like, bro, you got to do some long-term parlays. So in April, I gave the boys a quarterly parlay for April, May, June, paying plus 492. 1,000 would have got you almost $5,000. Bumgarner on the money line. Inoue, these are all money line. Benavidez, Hergovich, Davis, Hamza, Han, Shock, and then because the Mason fight fell through, they paid me out. This is part of my system now, bro. So thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen, and also keep in mind when you do these long-term parlays, Johnny, you can invest a lot less money and risk a lot less money because you're gonna get much better odds because you're probably gonna do 7, 8, maybe 9 legs.
Mm.
So if you do lose, hey, you're losing less money. If you do win, you're gonna do so with very.
Okay. So let me ask you about your like bankroll to not be specific. So let's say you see a dog at plus 200, but you see like 6 fights over 2 months and they're all big favorites, and those 6 fights over 2 months pay plus 200. Would your bankroll, would you bet the same on both, or would you go heavier on one or the other?
Listen, if I have an underdog that, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick betting strategy example. Perfect example. All right. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez.
It was plus money. Crazy.
All right. I parlayed that for 3 months straight, Johnny. So I would do one parlay and then I would put in 2 for Crawford, 1 to go the distance, 1 for the Crawford upset. All right. Over and over again. Every one of these parlays was for like $5. Okay. $5, Johnny.
Okay.
But every one of these parlays had like plus 600 odds because I'm already starting off with the Crawford decision. I'm already, because I know he's not going to, if he's going to beat Canelo Alvarez, it's only going to be by decision. You're not. He's
Yeah.
so I'm already getting like plus 180 odds for Crawford to win a decision. I'm parlaying that to plus like 400 to 600 odds every one of my parlays. So I'm only investing $5, but every one of those tickets is like $25, right? So come fight night when Canelo Alvarez gets beat by Terence Crawford on decision, all right, I won. I must have had 35 or 40 parlays that I cashed out. Every one of these tickets was like between $5 and $8 that I put my parlay in for. But every single one of the winners was between $25 and $35. It just adds up, adds up, adds up. It was like a $600-700 night for me with very little investment. With an
Off
investment,
of five, that's crazy. Off of $5 betting.
maybe an investment of overall $100.
Okay. This is like the penny. This is like the penny slots. This is crazy.
But yeah, if I'm
So
a
what do you?
major underdog, I'm going to parlay him going into that fight over and over and over again into obnoxious odds, sometimes as much as plus 800-900 odds. All right. Because hey, listen, he's still an underdog come fight night, right? You always have to factor in politics, is what I thought about with Crawford and Alvarez. Alvarez is still going to be hard to beat on the scorecards. Crawford could still get robbed here. It could still happen. So, you know what? If I end up losing 60, 70, $80, big deal. But I'm in a position to win $500, $600, $700 off that $80 investment. So what I did was a whole bunch of small parlays. So when I see something out there, and I'll give you an example right now, real quick, I like Zepeda over Roach. Okay, as I said, he's a
Plus 190, right?
plus 174 on the money line, right? So I started parlaying that already. Small $5 bets, but guess what? All those $5 bets are plus like 450 to 600 odds. So once all the other legs get checked off, now we're going into fight night with Zepeda versus Roach, and I'm in a position to win, let's say, $500 off a $90 or $100 investment.
So are you using the plus 190 as the most risky bet
Correct.
with other ones that are more likely to hit?
Yes. And then once in a while, I'll do a little.
Okay. Because there's a guy in my Discord. Shout out, his name's Youngin, and he like week after week he hits these moonshot parlays. There'll be like 10 to 15 leggers, and I'll see like $10s, $20s, but then he'll have like a 3-1, a 4-1, and it just kind of changed my way of thinking. Like, oh, because I was always under the impression if I'm betting a substantial amount on a dog, I don't want to lose that. I'd rather just put that substantial amount on the dog by itself. But it's kind of changed my way of looking at it. I could bet less, bring in a dog to juice up a parlay, and risk less but win.
Yeah, I have the opposite ideology, Johnny. If I'm
Okay.
going to be, I'm not going to parlay it. I used to bet Shakurstevenson for like
On points, everything.
$5-$6, okay, on points, and I have to sit there. And I told you how I do it. I'm not watching
You'll
the
garden. You'll start going. You'll clean the house.
ball wash. I'll go bang some,
Yeah.
whatever it takes to kill 20 minutes here and 30, whatever it takes. Clean, go food shopping. But I used to bet. But when I did that with Shakur, I'm not betting 3-4 legs. I'm betting Shakur straight up.
Okay.
Or better be
Okay.
off. AO straight up. I'm not going to parlay that.
Okay.
I'm betting
Okay.
fun. Now,
So, yep.
The opposite of what we're talking about. Those are favorites. If I'm going to go with an underdog, no, I'm going to do parlays, and I'm going to do that into
Really? All right. See, I'm learning. See, this August will be my first full year of strategically betting and giving away bets. I've never done that. I've always bet. My dad used to run numbers for my uncle, Italian mob sort of thing. Did Cape Verde score? Are you watching the World Cup?
I am not a soccer fan.
Neither am I, but I'm a bettor. So it's just been going crazy. Hey, we're almost 90 minutes, and I wanted to ask you about. Oh, he misses a wide open shot. Albert Bell was a plus 490 against Andy Cruz, and I was taking Albert Bell maybe because I'm from Ohio and I've watched him his entire career. Against Abdullah Mason, he's only a plus 280. What's your take of Cordina being out for getting into a street fight, and Albert Bell's jumping in? Two Ohio boys. It's a civil war.
Well, that fight's
What do you?
I have not done tape on Albert Bell yet. Okay,
All right, we'll do it. We'll go live then because I want to hear your opinion on him.
I will be doing, which I will be doing throughout the course of the week. I'm very, very, very high on Abdullah Mason. In and out of the ring, I really like the guy. I really do like the guy as a fighter and the way he carries himself. I think he's a gentleman. I think he's humble. I hope he stays the way he is. And I think his last fight with Noakes was a fantastic performance. I think he kind of showed it all. It was a fight of the year kind of candidate type fight, and I think he's a beast. Now, Bell, I know Bell has some wild dimensions. I know he's 6 foot. I know he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but I know he's a very good boxer because just looking up and down his box record, I can see all those wide points decision victories, and he's lost very few rounds as a pro. So you know what? That kind of tells me this is a guy that high risk, low reward. Let's not chance this guy. He's only been at four times, I think, the 10-round distance. You know, he's never been 12 rounds. So there are certain aspects going into this fight with Mason that you say, well, Mason's done this, and this, and Bell hasn't, and Bell's been a pro for like 13 years. But he's also from we discussed very briefly. You said he's been freezed out a little bit, and
he has
to account. And 6 foot, you know what? This guy obviously knows how to use his height and reach and knows how to box. I have not done the film study on him yet, so I'll know a lot more during the week.
All right, we'll talk about it then. All right, buddy, man. We got a lot. We have a lot of fights in front of us. It is, what is it, 10 o'clock where you are?
Yes.
You got any plans tonight? You being a good boy?
Yeah, you know, I'm going to the gym. I got a client in the morning, at like first thing in the morning, and then I'm going to work out myself again. And then I got Barclays tomorrow, and it's going to be
have fun at Barclays, man. You have a good time, brother. I appreciate you taking 90 minutes of your day to spend with us, brother.
Tomorrow's me a long day, so I got Algeria's having a little watch party across the street from Barclays, so I'm going to go meet up with them before the fights, have a few drinks, and go to the fights.
Tell Chris I said what's up, man. Tell him I said hello. I've known Chris for over a decade.
Yeah. Chris,
yeah. All right, brother. You be good, man. Thank you for your insight. You're a beast. If you're not following Tommy Rainone, follow him. I'll talk to you tomorrow, brother.
See you later.
Later. Woo! Guys, 90-minute live stream. I'll stay on for 5 minutes. I'm gonna grab something to drink. Do you guys want to talk about anything? If you're tapping in late, let me know if you missed anything. That's Tommy Rainone. He's a beast. Former pro, has a great show with Paulie Malignaggi. We got a lot of fights in front of us tomorrow. Wherever your money is, I'm not trying to talk you out of your money. Did Capo Verde advance with a draw? Is that why they're celebrating? Guys, did Capo Verde advance with a draw? It looks like they advanced. The boys are going crazy. So did they advance? What do you think happens tomorrow? Boots knockout. I got Boots on points, brother. So I guess they advanced. All right, so guys, we got Cabo Verde soccer. Let me know. I'm gonna just stay. I've been on 90 minutes. I did a live stream yesterday for 2 hours. I like these longer live streams. Trey says touch on beard. Johnny, what's your heavy bet on this weekend? I did two. I did apparel on points, and I'm doing boots on points. So basically, it'll be a great weekend for me if Jerron wins on points. It'll be everything else. If Boots either loses or if he gets the knockout, it'll be another one of these sort of like surface level weeks. I'm hoping if he gets the win on points, we're gonna be up massively. We're gonna be up massively. So that's my play. Charles is my guy. He's a friend of mine. We could talk about the UFC. The UFC's going on tomorrow. I've been friends with Charles Johnson for shit. When did he fight now? At least 9 years, 8 years. It's a bit of an emotional pick. I want to see him do well. I always tell you guys when it's a slightly an emotional pick. I told you that on Wednesday night with Liam Talava'a. I've known Liam since he turned pro. I said that I wanted to see him do well for his family. So you don't have to listen to me. I'm not telling guys. If you're subscribing to my channel, I say thank you. We're a true boxing channel here. We're not casuals. If you're supporting me by becoming a member, I want you to do that to support my effort, to support our message, to become part of our community. I don't want you to join our community just to follow whatever I say with my picks. No, I'm going to lose. Nobody knows what's going to happen, right? So we're going to win as well. We win a lot, but we're going to lose as well. So if the $6 a month is going to force you to be mean to me, don't do it. I don't like I don't live a life. I don't surround myself around people that I don't vibe with. The JSP insiders, we all vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I've never sold our JSP membership as you get to copy my picks. Support me, support our channel, become part of our community for every other reason other than just blindly following my picks. If anything, I became friends with Tommy through debate. Tommy and I became friends because we were debate fights. We didn't agree on fights. We would debate fights. So you see what I'm getting at. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Tomorrow's another one of these days. It could go either way. The Zuffa card, guys, I don't go 100% bankroll on Zuffa, just so you know. The matchmaking's crazy on Zuffa. I do have to get ready. My girl's spending the night tonight. I got to get ready to cook. I'm cooking some lamb cutlets with some crab cakes. Bang. You guys are the best. JSB Insiders, we up. I am tempted on taking Manny Torres. I'll do it. I'll do a UFC ticket. I'll share it. Charles, he always cuts difficult though, Nathan. Charles always cuts difficult. He's 5'9". You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, win or lose. I appreciate you, Nathan. You're my guy. What is $28? I don't know, man. In Spanish, we would say 28. Me llamo Giovanni, come te llamo? Habla español, solamente inglés. Yo hablo español y inglés, italiano, así, italiano un poquito. ¿Dónde está 28? Yo no sé. Yo no sé, mijo. Arrivederci. Buenas noches, arrivederci, sayonara, mochi mochi.